Hello, Ben.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
We're here. We did it.
We did. We're both alive.
First of all, congratulations on your thinness.
Oh,
you
thank
look
you.
slender and healthy. You look good.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Turns out running away from my children for 4 months straight will do that to you. I literally took up running just to get away from my three children.
Just going outside just for some mind space?
Well, it's LA, man. You can't get outside unless you're actively exercising or they come and arrest you. Oh, I could have looted a Foot Locker, right? Then that would have been okay.
Do you run with a mask on?
No.
Does anybody yell at you?
No.
No?
No.
Where do you run? Do you go to a track? Like, what do you do?
No, I literally just run around on the streets, hoping that one day I will be hunted down by the rioters, so I don't have to go deal with my children screaming at me. But yeah, that's the goal.
Did you try to get healthier when COVID hit? Like, were you worried? And
a little bit. It really wasn't about COVID. It was just I was eating out too much, and when I was relegated to home, it was like I had to learn how to use the barbecue, which I'd never learned how to use a barbecue actually. And then it turned out it was actually not that hard. So I don't know what I was doing for years.
I gotta give you some elk meat. Are you barbecuing right now?
Yeah.
You still doing it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you some elk sausages. It's very easy.
We have to do kosher, right? So I have to. Like,
that's not kosher at all.
Well, I'll have to go get the elk, and I'll have to actually like kill it myself.
Is that what you'd have to do? You'd have to get the elk, and then you'd have to slice its throat or something like that?
Oh yeah, it's good times.
What's the logic behind that?
So I mean, not to get too fast into the biblical stuff, but the original logic was that you were supposed to kill the animal in the most humane way was the idea. Now, do I know if it's the most humane way now? I have no idea.
It's most certainly not, Ben.
Okay, well,
because you have to slice
take it up with the rabbis, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get it. How back in the day, a very sharp knife going through the throat would have been the most humane way because it's almost painless. And then the blood just sort of pours out, and that's a wrap.
Right. You don't want the blood anyway. You're not allowed to eat blood in Judaism and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what do you do when you have a medium rare steak?
I mean, you salt the steak really heavily. This is why kosher meat's pretty salty.
So if you go to a steakhouse, are you allowed to go to a steakhouse?
Kosher steakhouse. There are kosher steakhouses.
God, you're so deep in that world.
I know, man.
But you're a logical, intelligent guy. Does every now and then...
I like how you juxtapose those.
But does every now and then it fuck with your head? You're like, what is this?
I mean, of course. And then when I don't know, there's a religious person alive. I mean, who doesn't eventually go like, okay, it's a little weird, but all right. You got to embrace the system.
But you feel like for tradition and for just the whole Jewish culture, it's worth doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you live the lifestyle, and I feel like it ain't that big a sacrifice to eat at particular restaurants. The restaurants are still good. They've still got good kosher restaurants.
One thing that we're seeing with society and culture in general, and one thing that sort of does support the idea of maintaining these sort of rigid disciplines, is that when things start to slide just a little, you lose like these little incremental steps. They slide, and people go, "Oh God, what's the big deal? What do you care?" And you're like, "I see where this is going. Like it's going down that way. This is not going to stop. It's sliding."
Oh yeah, and you saw it in L.A. I mean, I've lived in L.A. my whole life, and the move from L.A. being a pretty safe, fairly nice city, suburban in orientation, to just overrun with horror shows is really. It was a lot faster than I thought it would be, but it's sort of you're right. It's a gradual decline, and then it's just off a cliff.
Well, you started to see tents, and you didn't see them at all for decades, and then all of a sudden I started seeing tents. I remember I was doing Fear Factor in Skid Row in the early 2000s. So we would film down there, and I'd be like, "This is crazy. Like, has anybody seen this? Does anybody know this?" Because there was these homeless streets. Like, you would go down these gigantic... And downtown L.A. back then, for people who don't live in L.A., you would think, oh, downtown's like downtown New York or downtown Cleveland. No. Downtown L.A. was a no man's land.
Nothing's going on in downtown L.A.
It is now. Like, well, it was pre-COVID. It was like there was some bars and there was some really cool upscale apartment buildings. It was kind of picking up. But I took my family there before COVID, like 4 months before COVID or so. We were going to go to, there's a famous donut place there. So we said, just one of those goofy Sunday things, like, what do you guys want to do today? Let's go get donuts. So we went to downtown LA, like, holy shit, literally shit, human shit, on the streets. Everything smelled like piss. Bums everywhere. And I'm like, okay, stay close to me. Stay over here. If anybody comes near you, move closer to me. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, this is crazy. Like, I don't want them to be freaked out, but I'm like, this is nuts.
Well, the thing is that sort of disaster area stuff in LA was sort of localized, right? It really, like, I worked in the LA